The Vera Show. The Vera Show. The Vera Show. The Vera Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
If I were to say to you, close your eyes and tell me how many windows you have in your living room or any room. With your eyes opened, you can see those windows, right? Well, if you can see your windows, you can see your life. See the windows in any room with eyes open wide or shut tight. See the quality of your living by what you do or say. Do you see happiness or gloom in the life you live today? Are the clouds of despair the only thing you see? Do you wonder, who cares to come and rescue me? If you can see your windows, you can see your life. You can change clouds to sunshine by doing what you feel is right. See the rainbows in your life, fleeting moments in your day. See the beauty you can find in what you do or say. We are what we think about every day. We live by faith, fear, or doubt, believing life is but one way. We can think ourselves into happiness, misery, or pain by seeing what we stand to lose or seeing what we stand to gain. If you can see your windows, you can see your life. Awareness is the key. You have the control. You can see your life right. So let me ask you, how do you see your life? How do you want to see your life? Is there a gap between the two? Hello, hello, hello. So how do you see your life? How do you want to see your life? Is there a gap between the two? And if you are 65 or older, what does your life look like? How do you want it to look like? Well, my guest tonight, Janice Kenyatta, we're going to be talking about reinventing and reimagining yourself after the age of 65. And I am so excited that she is here tonight. And before I even give her the floor, let me just share a little bit about Janice Kenyatta. She is a fearless educator, trailblazer, and award-winning author. Janice Kenyatta, a fearless trailblazer in education, brings over 40 years of experience as a retired educator and school administrator. As the first African American and the first woman to serve as supervisor of career and technical education at Essex County Vocational and Technical Schools, she shattered barriers by managing a team of 70 teachers across 31 diverse programs. With a master's degree in business education and postgraduate supervisory certifications in career and technical education in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, Janice exemplifies lifelong learning. She is the co author of Black Folks Hair Revisited, Secrets, Shame, and Liberation. She recently published the captivating children's book, Just as It Is. She also created the beloved Abina doll, a self love companion doll inspired by her book's main character, as well as a 48-piece puzzle of the book cover. Beyond her accomplishments, Janice is an empowering mentor who captivates audiences with her speeches and workshops. She uses her ability to challenge perspectives and ignite passion. Residing in scenic Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, Janice cherishes her role as a mother of two daughters, a grandmother to identical twin granddaughters, and her life's motto. Let me share this motto and please hear it clearly. The more we learn, the less we fear. Let me say that again. The more we learn, the less we fear. Encapsulates her unwavering belief in the transformative power of knowledge. Yes, yes, yes. The transformative power of knowledge. I am so glad you're here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the floor. I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to give you the floor and let you share your journey starting from the time you were a child on through. And then let's talk about reinventing and reimagining. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction, and I love your introductory piece. I think it's beautiful, and thank you so much for having me on your show, Vera. I really appreciate the opportunity to use your platform to, if I can just inspire one person who's listening tonight on this particular program, I feel grateful and humbled. So thank you so much for inviting me on to into your show. So you wanted me to talk a little bit about my childhood. So I'll
Yes.
try to speed this up and make this as quick and succinct as possible. So I come from a typical family, mother, father. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was a blue-collar worker. He was a longshoreman for many, many years. And we were somewhat basically a middle-class family. I have a brother and a sister that I grew up with. I'm the middle child. And I would think now that I'm looking back, and when I look back on my childhood, I think I was a nerd. And I know that, and I don't say that in a bad way. I
Right.
Yes, I use that word because I remember my parents having conversations when I was in kindergarten, and I do remember this. They wanted to skip me from kindergarten to second grade, and when I look back, that's sort of weird. How do you skip a whole grade from kindergarten? But I did that, and that's what happened. So that's how I started my school life, is going from a kindergarten class to second grade, and then moving on and graduating high school at 16. But in any event, during my early years, I remember, and I'm still the same way, I remember I always loved to read. I found out at a very early age, and that's where the more we learn, the less we fear comes from, that when you read, you learn. It's as simple as that. And I just find I'm in awe of people who don't read a lot, because how do you find out things? How do you find out things? So I remember being a child, and I tell this story a lot because I can't even believe I did this. I remember my parents, I guess out of the three of us, since I was the nerdiest, they put the encyclopedias, remember those? They put those in my bedroom. And I remember vividly at a very early age, when I could read, going to bed every night with an encyclopedia, starting with A all the way to Z, and I would read through the encyclopedia. Now, what 6, 7, 8 year old does that? But that's
Wow.
what I did. And so I remember sitting at the kitchen table, eating a bowl of cereal, and I would read top to bottom, everything on that box, cereal box, I would read. And so I think that carried that was good, and that carried me through through my school years. attended actually a career and technical education or vocational school, we called it back then, in high school at I guess 13 years of age. And I majored in business machines at the time, graduated high school, and ended up going to a community college at 17. And I was going to major in to be an administrative assistant. And I saw two professors who mentored me at the college. I met them, and they said, they saw something in me, obviously, that I clearly didn't see in myself at the time, because both my parents had not gone to college. I mean, they were smart people, but they didn't go to college. And so I was going to go to college for 2 years and come out and work. And then they said, no, you can't stop here. You must go on to a 4-year college. And I was like, to do what? And they says, nothing wrong with being a secretary or an administrative assistant, but we see you more as an educator. And I ended up, based on their recommendation, I went to a 4-year college, Montclair State College, and I majored in business education. I got a bachelor's and master's all before, at the age of 21, just turned 22. Wow. So I did a lot.
Yes.
Period of time.
Yes. And there's a couple questions I need to ask based on what you said. Mm-hmm. So did your parents, well, apparently they encourage you to read because they put encyclopedias in your bedroom?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, did they do that with all the children?
I don't think so. I had the whole A through Z in my bedroom on a bookshelf. And I was the one that was interested in reading. I remember as a child that my sister and brother would be outside playing, riding a bike, playing with the neighborhood children. I would be in the house reading a book.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's being nerdy or.
Well, but the thing is, if more parents had books available for their children to read, if more parents read to their children, then it would open up a whole new world for them.
Yes, like it did for me.
Yes.
I learned so much from reading. And in fact, at age 15, I wanted to write a novel. And I wrote 2 or 3, maybe a page, 2 or 3 paragraphs or something like that. And I realized I don't have enough experience in life to write a novel. I was smart enough to say that to myself. So I put it down. And I did put it down. But I always wanted to, I love to read and I love to write. They go hand in hand for me.
Yes, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And then, and see, that's interesting that you had your mind set on secretarial or administrative work, and they saw in you something more.
They did.
That, and for that to have happened to you, for me, I was told, the only thing you can do is be a secretary.
Wow.
And that's not even in my lane. It is not in my lane. I tried it.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's what just, you like. And
exactly. And it takes a certain, to be a secretary, you need to be very detail oriented. You need to be very organized.
Yes.
You need to have everything in place. I must admit, that is not me. And so I usually had the messiest desk, but
you needed your own administrative assistant.
I needed my own. Yes, I did. But anyway, so I think it's phenomenal that other people saw more in you than you even saw in yourself.
Yes.
Which led you through your life. And I know I cut you off, so I'm going to shut up because we still have more of your journey to share. But
we have more. Because we're going to talk about me after 65. we got a lot
before 65, we gotta get to 65. Yes, so let me give you the floor.
Yeah. So at some point, I did get married when I was 33 years old, and I had 2 children. At that point, I had been living the single life of being a high school teacher. I was a high school teacher for 28 years in the same high school, the same high school that I attended, in the same school district that I attended. And during that time period, I got married after living a single life for 10, 12 years. And I had 2 children. And then we moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, to the Pocono area in Pennsylvania. So then I had a long commute. So now we're in this, in another state, and I'm living in one state and working in another state. And so I had a very bad, not, I shouldn't say bad, but a long commute, 175 miles a day. So I was
What?
yes, I was a very busy mother. I was a very busy wife and a very busy career person. And and then I did that for 28 years in the classroom, which I absolutely loved. But at some point, I felt that I wanted to impact students in another way. And then the superintendent of schools at that particular time, he saw something in me that he felt I would be a great educator to teach other educators. And so I was appointed, I went back and got my certification, and then I was appointed to be a supervisor of teachers. That means I hired and I supervised new teachers within that whole school district. It was an awesome responsibility, and I love the experience that I got from it. But I was still commuting. And then when I got to my work in Jersey, I was commuting out of 4 different schools, supervising teachers in 4 different schools, and observing, evaluating, working on programs, starting new programs. It was very intense. So at somewhere in my 50s, early 50s, I decided to retire since I started teaching so young. I retired at 34 after 34 years of being in that school district. Now that's already a lifetime.
Yes, 34 years.
34 years.
Yes.
And then from there, I was not ready to sit down and just do nothing. I still needed to work. I still needed to be purposeful. I was compelled to just get out there and do some other things. So that's when I ended up looking for a position in Pennsylvania, closer to home. And I found a position at Northampton Community College. And I stayed there. I was a career coach, a director, a career coach, and then a manager, or I started in the Northampton Community College's Bethlehem campus and Monroe campus internship office. So now I'm managing an internship office, which I started from the ground. And I did that for 5 years. And now I'm at 65.
But before we do that, I have to ask, being a parent and a career woman,
Mm-hmm.
having to travel 150 miles a day for several years,
Mm-hmm.
how did that impact your children?
You know, um, I think it could have. I don't. I think they came out okay.
I'm sure
The
they
saving
did.
grace, the saving grace was my husband, who's now my ex-husband now, but husband at the time. He was very helpful in being there when I wasn't there. So we arranged our schedules when there was always a parent most of the time. And there might have been a 1 or 2 hour window where I was coming home and he was leaving out to go teach or whatever it is that he was doing at the time. So, but for the most part, he was there in the mornings with them. He made sure they got on a school bus and all that. Then I was on my way home. I got in around 5:30, 6 o'clock ish. So it worked out. Thank God. It
Yes.
worked out.
Yes. I just had to ask
Yeah,
because
and it's a good
so
question because there are many latchkey children up in that area whose parents commute to New York and New Jersey, and the kids are there all day alone by themselves, and that's not good.
no, it's not.
Not good.
And so knowing that you and your husband worked together
Yes,
to make sure that your children were self-assured, confident, and all of those things. But so oftentimes, especially with career
yes,
mothers and fathers,
yes,
kids are on the back burner. And that's why I personally, I feel we have some of the issues that we have today.
oh, absolutely,
So I
absolutely,
think it's absolutely awesome that you guys were able to work
yeah,
in tandem to support your kids and to encourage them and to show them your love. That's awesome.
absolutely.
All right, now we'll get to
Okay, now
65.
65, at 65, I decided to retire, and I had a great year, a great retirement year. We traveled. I was happy to not be bound to the 5, 6 o'clock, 4:30 clock, alarm clock to get up. Everything was great for that whole first year of being 65. And then my life took a turn. I started to have some challenges in my life. And this, if you live long enough, you, even if you, no matter how old you are, you are going to face life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just part of living. But my challenges started at 65, or actually, I should say 66. 5 years ago this month, when I was 66, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That was a kick in the stomach because when you're working all these years, you think, great, I'm going to retire and I'm going to have a great life until eventually I die. But you just don't think you're just going to get hit with a cancer diagnosis a year after you retire. And
Right.
that's what happened to me. So I did um, um, I was happy to have a very good oncology team that walked me through it. Thank God. And I want to stop right now and tell any woman that's listening to this program, please get your mammograms. Please.
Amen.
My cancer was discovered in December of 2019, a routine mammogram, and it was I think stage 1A. Stage
Okay.
1A. So they caught it in enough time.
Yes.
Something. I got a biopsy, MRI, the whole thing. By the end of January of 2020, right at the start of the pandemic, I got a lumpectomy to remove the tumor. And
Ama-
then during the lockdown, I had radiation. I opted out of chemo.
Did
And
you?
yes, I opted out of chemotherapy. I got the radiation. But now, because I've opted out of chemo, I am on a hormone suppression, estrogen suppressive medicine for 10 years. I'm in year 5. And that pill comes with a nice package of side effects.
I
And I'm
bet.
dealing with it. But go ahead. You had a question.
Yeah, I do have a question. I hope I can remember it. When you get a certain age, you kind of forget what you
Yeah,
want
you
to
can't
say.
you can't interrupt people when we get past 50, but I know.
Right. And I didn't want to interrupt you,
Go ahead.
but were you getting mammograms on a regular base?
Absolutely. Ever
Okay.
since I was 50 years old, I
Okay.
was getting mammograms
Because
on a regular basis.
that's awesome. I want to talk about this for a minute because my mom died at the age of 44 of cancer. My one of my sisters died
Wow.
before 60
Oh
for
my goodness.
because of breast cancer. And then my 38-year-old niece
Wow.
died of cancer, breast cancer at the age of 38.
38?
And
Wow.
38. And so, yes, women. I just recently got a mammogram and I was very consistent
Hmm.
because of my family history.
Yes.
I've been getting mammograms since I was in my 30s. But for the past couple of years, I haven't gotten a mammogram. The last one I had was in 2023.
No, Vera, you have to
Well,
get
I
your
already did, already did, already did. I already did. I went ahead because I know how important it is.
with your history. No,
Yeah,
you have to.
especially with my history. I
Yeah.
know how important it is. So I just recently had a mammogram less than a month ago. And everything is good.
Good.
I thank God that I'm in good health. Now I want to ask you about these side effects that you talked about
With the
from this
medication.
medication. Yes.
Yeah, these side effects, and I guess that it's better than running the risk of getting this cancer to come back, because it could come back if I don't take this medication. Because
Because
chemo,
you didn't have chemo.
yeah, yeah. So what that does is it can cause a little bit of bone loss, because it's decreasing the estrogen in your body. And so because of that, when you have less estrogen, things happen to your body. Okay. One of the things is hair loss and hair thinning. When you get chemo, sometimes you become
Yes.
bald sometimes. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't go bald, but I lost some hair. Here, my hair was a lot thicker than this. As a younger person, pre-cancer, not younger person, pre-cancer. But when I started taking that, it immediately broke off the top part, and it's usually like right in the top, the crown. So I'm going for hair treatments once a month and getting steam treatments and stuff like that. And it's sort of balanced off a little bit, but it sheds. Your hair literally sheds because
Yes.
of the medication. You can get headaches, night sweats, they come back. Um, it affects everybody differently. Everyone has different side effects from this medication, and then they have different degrees of it. So that you, or maybe similar. So then they try to get you from one to the other to see that the side effects will be less serious. But I just stuck with the one. So whatever happens, happens. I'm going to deal with it.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. I
So I
do
see.
want to comment on
Yeah,
one of the we have a guest that says we are so excited for you. And this is
that's my
Annette
friend Annette.
Long. Thank you, Annette, for chiming in. And we
Yes.
encourage others to please chime in with comments, questions, or anything.
Yes,
So thank you,
please.
Annette, for being here. All
Yes.
right. All right. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So complete the journey. Okay, so I did get the radiation in March, and then life went on. Life went on. I'm still doing my thing. In the meantime, at 21, in 2021, is when the marriage started. There started being some issues, for lack of a better word, in my marriage. 35 years of marriage. So at 21, we made the decision to separate. And that was almost a year, a little more than a year after the cancer diagnosis. So we made the decision to separate. Now, 35 years plus a couple more years of being with one person. And then now you have the cancer diagnosis, you're going through that. Then you have the separation, you're going through that. But, it is what it is. And so, of course, I had a pity party. And it wasn't how I envisioned my life after age 65 to have cancer. And then the next year, a separation. And then in 2022, an actual divorce. So those were some challenges that I faced. But I share this story because a lot of women have said to me, how did you get through what you got through in the time that that you went through these challenges? And so there's several ways that I got through. You're always going to feel sorry a little bit, but I got beyond the pity party. I
Right.
said, okay, now at this point now, I'm a 67, 68-year-old single woman again, living alone, which that was like very new to me at that point.
And how did that make you feel knowing being with someone for 35 years
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you're alone?
You're alone.
How did that make you feel?
So many women have asked me that. So many. Um, it was daunting. It was daunting in the beginning. I had insomnia for a long time. I couldn't sleep because the mind was racing. What is my life going to look like going forward? I'm 68, about to be going into 69. What is my life going to look like as a single person? Would I ever get married again? All these questions, are coming into my head at this point. But in that time period, and that's what I want to emphasize to the audience, my life took a change. It took an uphill. After I went through my little pity party, I got a good therapist. That helps too. Very good
Yes.
therapist. I didn't isolate myself. I surrounded myself with a close network of friends and families, but they're not the same as a therapist. Because a therapist is going to be completely unbiased, and they're trained to talk to people about loss and grief and so forth.
Yes.
So I did that. So I did a few things that got me through. But in 2021, during the separation, my ex-husband, we had sold our house, and my ex-husband was cleaning the attic before we sold the house. He took the box to wherever his new place to live was, and he called me one day. And he said to me, do you know that you wrote this manuscript called Just As It Is? And I said, no, what? Yeah, I didn't finish it, though. I know I wrote it, but I didn't finish it. He said, no, you finished the manuscript and you need to do something with this. He found it in a box of his things, and it was in the attic. So now that brings me go all the way back. I wrote that manuscript for a book more than 25 years ago. It had to be close to 30 years ago. I wrote Just As It Is, which you're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, we are.
And the backstory with that is that I overheard a young lady when I was teaching high school, after he and I co-authored the book Black Folks Hair, talking about women wearing their natural hair and being proud and why they straighten their hair and all that stuff. I overheard a young lady, just the Black Folks Hair, I overheard a young lady in my classroom, a black African-American 16-year-old. I hate my hair. I think black hair is a curse. I was completely mortified when I heard her say that. And I remember going home saying to my husband at the time, I said, I'm going to write a children's book, because the love of oneself and one's God-given features must come from the home environment when we're children, not when we're 16 and 17, when we are children. And so I guess I wrote half of it, thinking I wrote half of it, put it up because life got in the way. We built a house in the Poconos. I was raising 2 daughters. I was commuting 100 and some miles every day. I was doing everything, superwoman.
Superwoman, yes.
And so when he told me that manuscript was completed, I said, no way. I said, bring it over. He brought it over and he said, you have to publish it. This is still relevant today. This message needs to get out. That was in 2021.
And for him, and I want to say something.
Yes.
Because so oftentimes divorces are so contentious.
Yes.
And for you to have a divorced husband
Yes.
that supports you still
Mhm.
and encourages you, that too is unusual.
It was a
Now
blessing.
we've got comments coming in. So Mildred Boughton Blocker,
Yeah.
she says, you are awesome, cuz.
Thank you, cuz.
And we got another comment. Darian, he says amen to
Dr.
something that we
Darian.
talked about. Thank you for being here. We appreciate all of you being here. And so I commend the two of you for continuing to uplift, encourage, motivate, inspire each other, even though you are divorced. People, hear this.
Yes, it is possible.
Yes.
I have had people ask me the question, how can you work with your ex-husband? Well, I tell you, we are better as business partners. We are better. We're great as business partners, which there's nothing wrong with that. I've heard this before. We're not the first couple to get along better as a business partner than as a what did you say?
Yes, your girl at Vitality is
Laura.
listening too. You are a rock star. Thank you, Laura.
Yes. So
we got another comment. Hey, Janice, your life is giving hope to so many women. Keep on doing what you're doing. So many doors have and are still opening for you. Spring. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Spring.
I'm so glad I asked people to comment.
Yes.
They're still coming in.
That's a good
I'm
thing.
on too. Okay, Antonio.
Hi, Antonelle.
And my first comment didn't show, but very interesting, cousin Janet.
I got a lot of cousins.
You got a lot of cousins. Yes, you do. Okay.
Yes. But yes. Right. So and then during this time period, I got a publisher. I mean, not a publisher, illustrator, because he was going to be my publisher. So I got an illustrator, and do what you do to get books published. It took a while and get books illustrated and all that. It took a while, and I did that. Then in 2022, the divorce became final. But I also decided during that year to design a doll. Now here I am again, 69 years old. Never did any of this stuff. And I come up, why did I do this? I decided to design a doll, a Bina, in the image of my book because I thought it would be a nice compliment to such a beautiful cover that the graphic designer did for my cover. And that's why I have the doll now. And then went on just recently to add a puzzle to the collection.
Yes, she has a puzzle, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but that's part of my journey. That I had to fill that in. That's part of the journey of all of a sudden I'm flourishing, and people are asking me, "Aren't you? How are you doing this?" And I think what it is, I'm going to say this for the 65-plus-year-olds. I think what happens is that when you are doing lifing, as I call it. I lived in the shadows of my career, and that's not a bad thing. But to make my point, I lived in the shadows of my career as a career person, supervisor, teacher, as a mother, a wife, and then subsequently and eventually a grandmother. So now, as a divorced woman, 65 years old, my kids are grown, and this happens to all women at some point who have children, or, my kids are grown. Other women have lost their husbands through death or divorce. And now you're sitting and you're looking in the mirror. What is my purpose in life now? What is my purpose? What am I doing here? So that's one of the things I thought about, Vera, when you asked me, how did I feel? What am
Yes.
I going to do with my life now that I am in this by
Situation.
myself?
Yes.
You know,
So let me ask you this. As you were thinking those things, emotionally, how were you feeling?
emotionally, there were some hurdles that I had to get through. The fact is that there's someone that was in my life that's no longer there. But I will have to say that having the family, having the two daughters and the grandkids, they they definitely filled up that void for me. And then having my close friends and relatives, just and family giving me support, that means a lot.
Yes, it
And I say to
does.
people, when you go through your challenges, and you're going to go through them at some point, do not isolate. We
Don't.
tend to, as a coping mechanism, we tend to isolate ourselves because we're embarrassed. We just don't be around people. Other people seem happy. We're not happy at that point. And so we tend to isolate. That's a coping mechanism. You can do that for a couple of days. I did that
Only a couple of days.
a couple of days, but then snap out of it. Life goes
Yes.
on. Life goes on. You just
Yes.
need to find your niche and what is going to be your purpose in life to continue into what I call our golden years.
Yes. Now, before we go on into our golden years, I want to respond. There's a question that Jane is asking. She says, do you still have a love for reading? And can you share what you like to read now? Great questions,
Great,
Jane. Thank
great
you.
question, Jane. And I'm going to answer that by saying, and it may not sound that good. I do read books still from time to time. I like a hardcover. I like a book. I don't like Kindle and all that. I'm just not into that. However, though, social media has spoiled me. I read, I Google a lot, and I read a lot of articles, a lot of news articles, not just news, but self-help articles, health articles. And I do a lot of that on my phone. Now, these 60s, these 70, 71 now, these
Yep.
71-year-old,
Yep. You and me both. We're 71.
yeah,
And let me say, we don't look like we're 71 years
that's right.
old. We
Yeah,
don't.
70 is the new 50. That's what
Yes.
I have to say. But
Yes.
anyway,
Yes. Okay.
or I could say black don't crack. But
Right. That too.
I'll keep it anyway.
All right.
Um, so to answer Jane's question, I do read a lot on my phone. I just anything. And she said, "Can you share what I like to read?" Now, anything, Jane. I don't care if it's going to help me, if it's going to give me knowledge and educate me. And then a lot of times, and I know my kids get mad sometimes. I'll read an article and then I send it to them. Oh, Mom, why did you send this to us? It's because I want them to learn too. I want
Right.
them to learn what I
Exactly.
learned.
I do the same thing. I
Yes,
do.
yes, absolutely.
And audience, you need to understand you're either green and growing or ripe and rotten. And the only way that you can continue to expand your life is to be green and growing. And I know, Janice, you have 5 points that you want to mention regarding how can people stay
Yes.
green and growing.
Yeah, actually, I have six. I added
Oh,
one more to that, so it actually is
okay.
6 points now.
Okay,
Okay,
what's
yes,
the first one?
yeah, I'm gonna run through them as quick as I can. I'll probably just refer to my paper a little bit to keep me on point. But the first one, first and foremost, for anyone that's 65 and over, and it also could be younger people too, but I'm specifically referring to 65 and over. It is important that we prioritize our health. I don't care how pretty you are, I don't care how much money you have. If your health is lacking, what can you do? There's not much you can do without good health. So the first component to living a good life and a purposeful life after age 65, prioritize your health. Absolutely.
But
Now,
wait a minute, because we gotta focus. I mean, we're gonna give all these points, but we
yes.
need to talk about this.
Well, I'm going to talk about this one more.
Okay.
I'm
All
going to
right.
tell you what I'm going to say. By that, I'm talking about there are three elements. Your health includes your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. Those are the three components of good health. By physical health, everybody knows that you should exercise, you should have a good fitness program. I don't care what kind of fitness program you have, everybody's different, but you should have 65 plus, you should have a fitness program. You should pay attention to what you eat, even more so now at this age, because things tend to change as we get older. Pay attention to what you eat. I practice mindful and intentional eating. I started
Yes.
the last 3 years. I've started practicing, and being alone gave me enough time to focus on this. Mindful eating, intentional eating, cardio, strength training, all fit into that fitness program. The next thing is your mental health. You cannot have good physical health without being mentally sound and mentally well. If sometimes as we get older, we tend to get, when I say we collectively, I'm generalizing, I know, we tend to get a little anxiety about some things. I had panic attacks from driving. But after I stopped commuting, I developed panic attacks. I took myself to a therapist. I did not want to be one of those little old ladies driving like this or having my car home and I can't drive it. Ask my family. I went and I got help, and now I can drive anywhere I want to drive now. And I'm very happy about that because I'm too active to sit home because I'm afraid to drive.
Right.
Get
Right.
get help. Take care of your mental health. Very, very important. And spiritually, I'm not a religious fanatic, but I am spiritual. And I do believe in prayer. I do believe in meditating. Find something where every day at our age, we should find a time to be still and just close our eyes, maybe do your prayer, your meditation, listen to soft music. You had a light issue here.
Yeah, my electricity went off in my bedroom. Um, I'm
But we
gonna put you. I'm gonna let you keep talking, and I'm
okay,
going to go
what's happening?
and see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. So piggybacking on the picking up on the spiritual meditation, breathing in and out, yoga, all of those things contribute to our physical health. So just to sum it up, physical, prioritize your health, the meaning, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual to make a whole, complete person in that area. The next thing that I want to talk about really quickly is taking risks. Taking risks is a very scary thing for many people. And sometimes the older we get, the more we are afraid to take risks. I took a big risk. I just started my own business at 69 years of age. I mean, I know other people do it, and that's a good thing. But I never thought at this age that I would be in business for myself. And I had to learn a lot of different things. But risk taking, I highly advise people to take that because it can add to your personal and your professional growth. What I would say about taking risks, you just don't do anything. You just don't go crazy with taking a risk. Do your research, look at the pros and cons, and make an intelligent decision. If you decide to take that risk, and that could be taking a new course, a new language, learning a different language, taking a course, opening up a business, anything like that. But make a decision, an intelligent decision. And if it doesn't work, you have not lost. You still won because you took a risk. You did something out of the box, something different. It may not have worked, but you learned something from it. So taking a risk to me at our age, I think is a very good component. The next one is, I'm trying to get through this before time is over, is positive versus negative thinking. Positive thinking affects and negative thinking affects your mental and your physical being. Believe it or not, stress can kill you. That when you think negatively and you're stressed out all the time, that is not good for you mentally and physically. Positive thinking releases endorphins, and it can help you be a whole person, a more well person. So run away from what I call the negative Nancys and the bitter Bobs. And I apologize for any Nancys and Bobs in the audience. It's just a thing. But if you run into a negative thinker, all they're going to do is just bring you down. So leave them wherever you found them. Do not surround yourself around negative people. always stay with positive people and keep your thinking on a positive level. The next component to reimagine and reinvent yourself at 65 years of age plus is to develop a passion for something. You have to develop a passion. Passion fuels your purpose in life. And so every morning that I get up with the idea, oh, I have something to do. I have a purpose in life. And I think everybody, specifically 65 plus, should have a purpose for getting up. A passion is doing something you're excited about, something that you, every time you think about it, you're excited about it, or, and you always want to do it, something that you're never, ever going to get tired of. I think that is one of the keys to reimagining your life when you get older. Have passion, because that passion will lead to purpose in your life. And so the next thing I would say, component to help you go into your golden years, so to speak, would be developing or continuing to develop your communication. Yay, she got the lights back on.
Lights on.
What, they didn't pay the bill or something?
No, I think because of this heater it is cold.
Yes. Okay. So we got some technical things going on. I'm almost
Yes.
done with. So the communication skills, whether they're verbal or nonverbal, we still need to, even though we're older, we need to hone in on and be mindful of how we communicate with people, how we interact with people, how we talk, how we dress, our facial expressions, our body language, all of that are what we call nonverbal skills. We already know that verbal skills is to always have good writing skills and speaking skills, but it's also good to focus on your nonverbal skills. That will lead to success in whatever it is that you decide to do. So communication skills. And the last one would be creativity. Creativity. What does creativity do for people? Creativity gets you out of the box. It makes you see things differently. It makes you see how you can do something in a different way, and it helps us to generate new ideas for ourselves. I highly advise. I never thought I was a creative, believe it or not. I never thought I was a creative person. I taught business education. How creative could you be teaching business? But I started thinking, well, okay, I do lesson plans and I put together activities, so that I did have a degree of creativity. Now, what my daughter's saying here.
Says, hi,
Oh,
mommy, therapy is so important. We have several messages that I want to share before we move forward because I love to acknowledge my audience. I appreciate them taking the time to
absolutely.
come. And so, Josephine, she says, cousin, what triggered your panic attacks about driving?
Well, my therapist and I were trying to figure that out. And I know during my commuting time, I had another story. I had two back-to-back almost fatal accidents while I was commuting. A tire came off a vehicle coming head on to me on the back road well, I am in Pennsylvania, but on the back road, not far from where I was living before. And I didn't see the tire, but it was rolled and it hit me head on. And I ran. I panicked, and I had to go in the hospital. I had to do whatever I needed to do, and so yeah. So and then 6 months later, I got a brand new car, and then someone T-boned me by my work, and so
So you couldn't help but have panic attacks
but it didn't hit
after
me.
those
But it
experiences.
didn't hit me until 2 or 3 years later. Yeah.
Wow.
So long story short, I was hypnotized by my therapist. That's another thing. People don't believe in the power of hypnosis. It worked for me. It worked for me. What is it she's saying? Nyla says
She
hi.
says, Nyla says
That's my granddaughter.
hi.
That's my granddaughter.
Okay. And she says, Daddy's here too.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Kenyatta.
Yes. Now, when I disconnected myself or got disconnected, we were talking about mindfulness and intentional eating. And
Yes.
I missed some of what you were saying. I hope that the audience got it.
Yeah. Did you put passion as part in your?
No, I didn't have that. I missed
Okay.
that.
Because
Passion and purpose.
I did positive thinking, passion, You have to have passion for what you do, because what are we here for if we don't have passion and we don't love it? And of course, passion equals purpose. And then then there's communication skills.
Okay, and what was the one before passion?
The one before passion was positive thinking.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Well, I said to them earlier, I guess when you left, is that if you don't associate yourself, run away from negative thinkers. Because
Absolutely.
all they're going to do is bring you down. They're going to say to you, you're going to say, I want to start a business. Oh, you can't do that.
Right, exactly.
You
Get
can't do
away
that.
from negative
Yes. Get
people.
away from them. Positive
Quickly.
thinking, again, affects your psyche. It affects you mentally and it affects you physically. So you have to think positive. Your body reacts to how you think. Your body and your mind work together.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and that poem that I shared at the beginning basically says that. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
we are what we think about every day. And
For
if you're
sure.
thinking negative thoughts every day, then that's why you're sick and tired,
This is right.
because of
Yes.
those negative. It's such a weight. Negativity is
It's a
such a weight.
Yeah. Yes.
And you know, I can't believe we are running out of time. But I want. Did we get all those points
Okay.
across?
Did you put communication skills?
Yes, I put
And
that
did
in.
you do creativity?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Those
Wait a
are
minute.
all the
No,
components.
wait a minute. Where did I put it?
Yeah, it's creativity.
Okay, I thought I had written them down.
Because
Yeah,
I always believe
creativity, communication skills,
in creativity.
and
And
creativity.
yeah.
Those things are very important.
Yes. Now
Um,
there are more, but for the sake of time, those are the main ones that I think that if you want to reimagine or reinvent yourself past age 65, focus on these areas to get you past the to the finish line.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And before we leave, I must do your promo for your book, because this is a part of your reinventing and your reimagining
Absolutely.
yourself. And this book is a part of that. So let me take a few minutes to play this video, which is absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
It is absolutely awesome. So let me pull this up for our audience to see. Yes, this book is amazing.
Thank you.
And on top of the book, she has won the Book Fest Award. She is the Book Fest Award winner because of this book. And she has the doll that goes with it. And let's talk about this book. And this is the puzzle. Oh my God. And you know what? This is something that needs to be in all schools, even though, right now they're doing all this crap with
DEI.
DEI and the lack of thereof. But what you got here, because self-love is so important for all of our children.
Yes.
And I am going to do my best to get this book out to as many, especially with the stuff that I'm doing right now.
I appreciate that.
To
Thank you.
get this book out, because it's so important. And I read the book. And actually, I think I gave this book I'm going to be giving it to my grandchildren. But this book is beautiful. It is an absolute beautiful book. You want to talk more about it?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, I did the purpose of this book is to encourage parents. Parents need this too. I really wrote the book for parents and children because a lot of parents they weren't taught to love themselves when they were younger, and so it's going to be very difficult for them to pass that on to their children.
Absolutely.
Parents and children, and let me say, it's not for Black children; it's for all children. Children are children in my eyesight. So the message for this book is for all children to love themselves, parents to teach all their children, the children in their lives, whether it's parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, love yourself. You can do enhancements, but to literally, you know, just do all the things that we do sometimes to alter our appearance is not necessary. The other thing, the other message, which I think is just as important, is, and this to me should cut down on bullying. Don't tease other children because they look different from you. Even though you love yourself, you don't tease other children because they look different from you. So the message is to accept the differences of all people of all ethnic and cultural backgrounds. That's my
Yes.
purpose, and this is my passion to spread those two messages.
Yes. And I want to say, in terms of bullying, once you have that self love and that self confidence, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. Once you have this self love and you
Yes,
know who you are, then
absolutely.
nobody can bully you because you'll be able to stand up for yourself and you'll be able
Important.
to say, no, that's not true. I know I'm not that way.
Very important message, what you're saying. Very important.
Yes. And so this has just been wonderful. I'm so sorry for the interruption. But
That's,
Mildred says, congratulations on winning the book fest. Yes.
thank you, cuz. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, this is amazing. And you're going to have to come back because there's some other things that we need to talk about.
Yes.
One of
Yes.
the things, like a part of reimagining, and we can't talk about it now because we don't have time. We've only got like about 4 minutes left. But a part of that reimagining and that reinventing yourself after a divorce and after going through all the things that you went through
Mhm.
to find love. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And I know we can't get into the details of it right now,
It's
but
another show. That's another
that's
show.
another show. That's another show. So you'll have to come back because this story and her journey of meeting someone at 70, 71 years old, it's never too
It's
late.
never too late.
It's
Never too
never
late.
too
Oh,
late.
never too late. And I hear women give up. They just give up. Oh no, no, that's not for me. It's never too late. You gotta manifest.
Yes,
Manifest.
manifest.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to see it.
You
See
gotta see.
it. See what
Absolutely.
it is you want in your life and
Yes.
claim it.
And claim it.
See it and claim it and
Very
speak
important.
it out loud.
Yes. Very important.
Out loud. Well, Janice, it's just been a pleasure having you here with me.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to give you time and play any commercials. My shutting down prevented me from doing that. And so we're going to, oh, there we go. So we're going to give you the last word.
Well, I had this. First of all, thank you all. Anybody that's watching, I really appreciate you coming on and supporting me. That means a lot to me. But I wanted to read this very short poem to kind of sum up what I was talking about earlier about the components to a reimagine and reinvention of 65 plus. There's a fountain of youth, or no, let me say it another way. There is a fountain of youth. It is your mind, your talents, the creativity you bring to your life, and the lives of people you love. And so that kind of just sums up for me all of what I was talking about. And I just want you to understand there is life after cancer, there is life after divorce, there's life after 65, 70. Just live your life with passion and a purpose.
Amen. Live your
Yes,
life with a passion and a
passion
purpose.
and
Now, you
purpose.
see how enthusiastic Janice and I are, and we're 71 years old. So come on. Those of you that are younger, get off your pity pot and start living your life.
That's right.
And know that this is the beginning. This is the beginning.
Every
So
day is the beginning of
every
your life.
day,
Every day.
every day, every day.
Yes.
And just think, if we lived each day as though it were our last, just think about it.
Yes.
If we lived each day as though it were our last, what would our lives look like? What would we look like? How would we treat other people? How would we treat ourselves? Well,
Absolutely.
listen, we've ran out of time. So I'm going to have you come back because we got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And I appreciate those last few words that you shared. That is so important, that understanding of who you are and that self-love. So
yes,
thank you.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you giving me this platform. It means a lot to me. And thank you everybody who tuned in. Again.
Yes, thank you so much. And please subscribe to the Vera Thomas Show. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
And support me as well. I need your support. And you know what? We did not put your information for people to contact you.
Okay.
So let me put that in before we leave.
I want to give my website too.
Okay, I'm ready.
Website is www.janicekenyatta.com. First and last name. Very simple. www.janicekenyatta.com. You can check my website out.
Yes. So check out her website.
And my email address, you wanted me to?
Yes, your email address.
Yeah. That's janicekenyatta@gmail.com. I keep it very simple. Why complicate my life at this age?
Right. At this age. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can reach her at janicekenyatta.com, her website, or you can email her and tell her you want her book.
Yes, and my doll or my puzzle.
Right, and I'm getting all three. I'm excited.
It's in the mail.
Yes, I can't wait to get it. And her Gmail account, janicekenyatta@gmail.com.
Yes.
And she says, very well done, ladies. Well, Mildred, I would love for you to give me a review on Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I would appreciate it. Please. Yes. Thank you.
Vera has some really good shows, though. She's good topics.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, this was a great topic. Well, and we're going to be doing it again. So we've gone over. If you would hold on a minute, and I'll get right back with you. So listening audience, thank you so much for being here. We will see you on Tuesday at 7:00. I look forward to you guys connecting with me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. God bless.
The Vera Thomas